all righty, you are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 playoff-bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Philadelphia Eagles. And why are the Philadelphia Eagles 0-16? Because they suck. Man, they never. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight, shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free to fire away, throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free to fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free to fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. Here comes my buddy Randy. Hold on a second. Whoa. Time out, ref. Time out on the field. Got my buddy Randy here. Hold on. We got to move the chair for him. Hold on, buddy. All right. Okay, Randy's here. We can continue. Randy's here. If anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below. Top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one has their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. That's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And then finally, also a little farther down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old fart. It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It'll be Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. 3 trillion years from now, it'll be Twitter because I'm an old fart, right? Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. Not calling it that. It's Twitter. If you follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. That is an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in there every day, right? And then I said the link just above it, it's a Facebook link. It takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron, right? We have over 7,400 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in that group 365. And not only do I put stuff in there, but if you become a member, members post stuff in there as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in the group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. Please join it, become a member. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, with all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. All right, well, here we go. It's Eagle Week. I tell you what, man, I don't know. I guess maybe, just maybe. I mean, a lot of this stuff, I guess, was based on, right, what the Giants did last season, I guess. I mean, what 1,300 Monday night games we had this year, Sunday night games, Thursday night game. We even had, a Tuesday night and a Wednesday night game. You know, I mean, so basically it's probably pretty much, what happened last year. I mean, I don't know. But, a Christmas Day game for all the world to see. The Eagles, we haven't beaten the Eagles since Jesus Christ was walking the earth. They killed us the 2 games last year against our first stringers by a combined total of 513-2. So I'm not sure, that must be some good stuff. They must have rolled. It must have been about 13 foot long. I mean, Snoop Dogg was probably jealous of whatever they were rolling and smoking. Hey, let's put the Giants and the Eagles on Christmas Day for the whole Milky Way galaxy to see. The Giants haven't beaten the Eagles in 752 years. Last year, they lost the 2 games, except for the last one when the Giants had their 13 stringers in there. So when the Giants had their prime-time guys in there against the Eagles, they lost by a combined total of 513-2, right? Let's put these guys on prime time, right? So the whole world can see, especially we'll put them on the 425 too, right? Everybody's sitting down eating dinner. That way, all the Giant fans, I guess, can just projectile bomb it while. So anyway, and then once again, that too. It's like, let's put the Giants 2 out of the final 3 games against the Eagles. But a lot of times it's not, as they say, who you play, it's when you play. Oh, my good boy. It's a tough one. You got with Jalen Hurts, he was kind of calling out some of his guys. He said something along the lines like, maybe everybody's not taking it seriously or something like that. So, that might be a rallying cry, right? The Eagles are fighting for their playoff lives. This is a huge weekend. The Cowboys in Miami. My son and I are going to be at that game because he's a Cowboy fan. I know I'm pissed off about it too. But we're going to be down there in Miami watching the Cowboys and the Dolphins play. Should be a good game. But it's huge because the Eagles got the Giants and they got the Cardinals and they got the Giants. Cowboys have the Dolphins on the road. Then they got the Lions at home. Then they got the Commanders on the road. So the Cowboys have a tougher road to hoe, that's for sure, than the Eagles do. So this game is freaking huge. That they got 4 losses, the Eagles. 49ers got 3. Even if the 49ers were, say, to lose to the Ravens. The biggest thing is a lot of his health, too. Can the 49ers stay healthy? But even if they were to lose to the Ravens this week and get 4 losses, I'm kind of seeing, they could probably win their last 2 games. So, I think at the absolute worst, sorry, buddy, you stop petting my dog Randy here. He starts looking at you. What's going on? Why aren't you petting me? But so, I could certainly see without question that the 49ers, having no more than 4 losses. And even if the Eagles would run the rest of the table, they would have 4 losses, right? So the 40, but the head-to-head, so I think it'd be pretty tough for the Eagles to get the number 1 seed. They got a good shot at winning the division. Okay. Because basically, if as long as if you're not the number 1 seed, you're going to have to play 2 games to get to the championship game, right? The nice thing about being the number 1 seed, and hey, kudos, like last year, kudos to the Eagles. You were the number 1 seed. Kudos to you, right? If the 49ers become the number 1 seed, they're the best team in the NFC, especially if they're healthy. But regardless, it's going to be huge for the Eagles, even if they can't get that number 1 seed, to at least try to win the division. Because then if they'll be possibly the number 1 seed the first weekend, so they'll go up against the weakest opponent, right? But then also just knowing that they're the number would be maybe I guess the number 2 seed if they want to win in the division. So the first week, as long as they win, that game will be in Philadelphia. The next week, right? The divisional round, that game will be in Philadelphia, right? And if they win that, they'll have to probably go to San Fran to try to win out there. So that would be huge. Just for whatever, if the Eagles had to wind up playing the Cowboys, they would rather play the Cowboys at home than on the road. We saw what happened to them on the road. Now, you can look at 8 million different ways, right? That Cowboy-Eagle game when it was played in Philadelphia, right? To me, the Cowboys were the better team. You got Ray Charles, Dak Prescott running around the corner there, stepped out of bounds by about 2 inches or so. I think it was the 4th down play. Well, if he keeps his foot in bounds, right, and dives for the pylon or something like that, touchdown. Maybe the Eagles don't win. To me, the Cowboys were a better team than that, yeah. But having the Eagles be at home against the Cowboys, if they were to play the Cowboys in the playoffs, would be a huge advantage for the Eagles. As I said, because I don't think the Eagles want to go to Dallas and play there. They saw what happened. Their offense couldn't even score a touchdown. They had one defensive touchdown. They lost by 20 points. So totally outplayed in there. So this is a huge game for the Eagles. The Giants the Giants mathematically somehow are still alive. You can forget about that. So the Giants are just playing for pride. Now, the Eagles obviously have the better talent overall. Their front line is better. Their offensive line is far superior. You just look around. Their secondary is a little. If Slay's not in there, Bradberry's not doing too good. He's not doing too good. But you also look at the offensive weapons too, right? I mean, we got Saquon. I'll take Saquon over any running back they got. Even Boston Scott, the giant killer. Yeah. But the weapon. I mean, we have Waller. The Eagles linebackers can't cover, right? I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the Eagles defense, is actually giving up more points this year than the Giants defense has. So the Eagles defense is not good. Not good at all. Okay. They go up against a good scoring offense. They're going to give up some points. They're not good at all. Bradberry's not look good. They keep signing these guys like they're going to be like world beaters and stuff like that, and they still stink. Absolutely stink. I said Slay may not be in there. The problem is that we got some weapons, sure, but do we have a Brown like what they got? Do we have a DeVonta Smith like they got? Do we have if we had like an Odell Beckham Jr., somebody who could really take the top off, or just there's nobody can cover him or something like that, we have a good chance. One of the problems is that our offensive line is just so that it's going to be hard for Tommy Chicken Cutlet Parmesan to maybe stand in the pocket right now. Of course, if they saw, Matt Patricia's calling the defenses, if you saw what Nolans did against us last week, you might want to dial up a little bit of that, because that seemed to work is where the Packers game, the Packers scheme didn't. But I mean, we were getting sacked left and right last year against the Eagles defense, which was last year was a lot better. They had 87 guys who on their defensive line who had at least 10 sacks. So I mean, they were just absolutely incredible. This year they're not nowhere near like that, but they're still going to get pressure on the Giants. Without question. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. The Giants are certainly playing for some pride. The Eagles are not as good as they were the year before. So I still don't. Giants ain't winning, but hey, I'm pulling for them. I don't know. I just don't have a good feeling about it. It's just one of those things is that kind of, it's like, what would you say? You want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So in order for me to pick the Giants anytime within the next 300 years against the Eagles, you got to beat them. You have to beat them. Then you can show me that you can beat them. Right. And so I just don't feel good about this at all. Yeah. All right. So we got here the Giants is Big Blue View when the Giants have the football. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now, they have to, there is a little, question mark here. Who's going to be on defensive coordinator? Apparently, it's going to be, I guess, Matt Patricia, what I'm understanding. Patricia, defensive assistant on Nick Sirianni's staff, assumed the primary responsibility of defensive coordinator without the title. Let's see here. Sirianni decided after the Eagles' defense surrendered 3 consecutive weeks over 30 points against the Bills, 49ers, and Cowboys. Still, the product of the field wasn't the primary driving force behind the decision. According to the Philadelphia Inquirer, the removal of their old one, Desai, was due to feeling that the young coach did not carry himself with confidence, and the players started to notice. It's important to note that several veteran Eagles threw their support behind the young coach. Both defensive lineman Brandon Graham and center Jason Kelce publicly endorsed Desai as a coach. Well, it's the statistics here. The change from Desai to Patricia could alter how the defense is effectively run, but the personnel remains the same. And it's not as cohesive as it was with Jonathan Gannon last season. The Eagles allowed 24.5 points per game, which ranks 26th. The Giants are only allowing 24.1 points per game, and we have no offense. So basically, our defense is on the field 98% of the time is where they have an offense. So their offense is on the field 55 to 60% of the time, and their defense is on the field 40% of the time, and they're giving up more points than the Giants are. So what does that tell you? Their defense is not very good. Let's see. The Eagles ranked 22nd in the NFL in yards allowed at 349.9 yards per game, 28th in passing yards allowed, 255 yards a game passing, and 7th in rushing yards allowed. They have a very good, their defensive front, very stout up front, very tough to move those guys. They do a very good job in the run game. But also a lot of people are like, hey, let's run against. No, why are we running against the Eagles? We can pass up and down the field. Right? Slay's not there. Bradberry stinks this year. Let's just throw the football. Why we want to run? So that's got a little bit to do as well. The Eagles had the worst third down conversion rate in the NFL. They allow a conversion of 47.69% on third downs. Almost 1 out of every 2 third downs they're giving up a conversion on. That is horrible. For reference, the Giants rank 8th in the NFL with a conversion rate of 36.11%. Philadelphia blitzes on 21.9% of its snaps, ranking in the bottom third of the league. Now, it'd be interesting to see if they change it up a little bit here, or get some good stunts, twists, whatever going on, just to try to, once again, screw with the Giants' offensive line. It's like last week against the Saints. It was kind of like, oh, was that a stunt? What was that? I mean, we snapped the ball and there was like 9 defenders in the backfield sacking. Was that a twist? Was that me? Was I supposed to block him? I mean, it's like I don't know. It's like I don't know what they're teaching them. It's like we're the 15th week of the NFL season, and the guys are just like they've never seen a stunt before, a twist. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. They get pressure rate on at 22.4% after they almost set the single season sack record last year with 70 sacks. They only have 39 now. Okay, so they're on par now for maybe 50. Well, I mean, they are playing the Giants twice, so they could easily get 10 sacks between these 2 games. So, and then they got to play the Cardinals. So they'll probably wind up in the 50s as far as sacks. Okay. So they only have 39, which ranks 14th in the NFL right now. So they're, as far as sacks, last year they were number 1. This year they're right in the middle of the pack. Unfortunately, of course, the Giants only had 24 sacks, 4 ahead of the Panthers for last place, which is just, I mean, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Defensive personnel. The Eagles have one of the NFL's deepest and most dominant defensive lines. After missing its team season sack record by 2 last year. They missed the single season record, but it's also by 2, but they're also playing an extra game. So it's like, it really is kind of a joke. Well, they set the single sack record. Yeah, well, yeah, we're playing 37 games a season now. Yeah, I guess you're going to set this. I mean, it's kind of a joke. With these, they broke the record. Yeah, well, the record was set back in 1952 when they were playing 12 games. Now we're playing 1,300 games a season. Yeah, I guess the single season sack record is going to get. I mean, it's some of the records. They're ridiculous. But anyway. I mean, they got, as I said, they got, Carter, right? Fletcher Cox and Graham, Big Bad, Jordan Davis. I mean, they got a lot of guys. We got all right. Milton Williams has 18 pressures. Jordan Davis has 17 pressures. Brandon Graham is 39. All right, Fletcher Cox has 39. Graham is 21. So they got Hassan Reddick. Don't forget about him. He has 11.5. Sweat has 6.5. Once again, they have a nice front wall. So it's going to be very difficult. Interesting to see, can they take a shot downfield? Oh, they're going to, could come in and max protect. Try to get Tommy to stand up for more than 3 seconds so he can launch one down the field. I'll have to wait and see. Says here, what should the Giants do? They should protect Tommy DeVito. Easier said than done. The Giants failed to do this with Daniel Jones last year. Jones was sacked 5 times with 25 pressures in the divisional round. 25 pressures. And 4 times with 33 pressures in week 14. 33 pressures. 33 pressures. So at that rate, 33 pressures in one game. At that rate, the Giants would have over 500 pressures in a season. Do you know how just unbelievably pathetic that is? And we haven't gotten any better this season. Oh, my God. Let's see here. DeVito has done a good job attacking teams vertically, may not have the luxury to stand in a pocket for long. The Giants do not run 6+ man protections. Absolutely, yeah. One way to provide DeVito more time is to establish the run and start running back Saquon Barkley. But the problem is they have a very good defensive front, stout. And, there's a good chance they're going to score some points. And then if you just start, let's keep the running game going here, which is something which is crucial and key, but you gotta, you have to stay in the ball game. If you're down 21-3 halfway through the third quarter, hey, let's keep with the run. It's gonna work one of these days. It's so easy. Just establish the run, right? Then you start picking up the passes, and then boom, you'll go down the field to score a touchdown. It's not that easy. It just goes to show you. The Giants only had 60 yards on the ground against the Saints last week, and the Saints' run defense is horrible. Barkley just 14 yards on 9 carries. A yard and a half a carry against an absolutely horrible run defense. Let's see. This does not mean the Giants have to be uber conservative. I love how the Giants took a deep shot against cover 1 to Slayton on the very first offensive play versus the Saints. Yes, absolutely. If they receive that look again, take a shot. Hopefully the ball will be optimally placed. Another way to assist the rushing attack would be to lean on the RPO and punish the linebackers for being over-aggressive in their fits like the Giants did against the Packers on Isaiah Hodgins' non-touchdown catch. So the biggest issue with the Giants' offense against the Saints was overall execution or lack thereof. The offensive line was dreadful on 4-man twists. The Giants had 3 drops, and there were open receivers who weren't targeted for one reason or the other. It likely won't get much easier in a hostile environment against the Eagles, a team that needs a win. Yes. Final thoughts. The Giants fell flat last week. I hope they can show life and play spoiler against a bitter rival, but history doesn't suggest New York will find a way to escape Philadelphia with a double U. Still any given Sunday, right? Well, unfortunately, this is on a Monday. I had the Eagles winning this game. Me too. Yeah. This is from Big Blue View, right? I'm afraid the Giants defense could be exposed against an Eagles offense that has proficiently executed whatever game plan they decided upon against the Giants in the past. Last year, the game plan was to attack the second level with zone read and RPOs from spread looks. New York did not have a chance as they gave up, over 700 yards rushing in 3 games combined against the Eagles. Over 700 yards rushing. It's just unbelievable. But however, with Bobby Okereke and a more developed Micah McFadden in tow, the Eagles might struggle to succeed with that plan. But let's not also forget, Well, Leonard Williams is no longer with us, but A'Shawn Robinson has been stepping it up a little bit. Okay, last he was tied for the lead in tackles last week with the Giants. So, but it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy at all. It's certainly one of those things that you just can't, give up. I mean, DeVito's done a very good job as far as not giving up turnovers, right? So basically all the Giants drives all end up in kicks, for the most part, punts, okay? But, I mean, the problem is that, if the Giants have to become one-dimensional because they're down by a lot and have to just start throwing the ball, things could get a little tough. But I mean, the Eagles' defense is not very good, and they are susceptible to the pass. Now, we could, if you can get Saquon out of the backfield, right, he could certainly become a mismatch without question. Darren Waller, he could be huge. He could be a mismatch. But then again, I was kind of saying the same thing last week, and you see how it turned out. But, once again, Waller could be huge. I mean, there's nobody the Eagles have can cover him. Right? So, but it's going to be tough. It'll be tough, especially on a Christmas day. Now, the Giants signed Timmy Horn off of Atlanta Falcons practice squad. Now, don't get too excited here. Giants are adding defensive tackle Timmy Horn to the 53-man roster per report from Mike Garafolo. Horn is being signed off the Falcons practice squad. So if he signed off the practice squad, it means he has to go on the 53-man roster, right? You just can't take somebody from a practice squad and say, hey, he's not that good. We'll put him on our practice squad. No. You got to put him on your 53. Giants star defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence has been dealing with a hamstring injury. Lawrence did not play Week 12 against the Patriots and has played limited snaps in the past 2 weeks. He's been on a pitch count, right? He did not practice on Wednesday as the Giants began preparing for their Christmas Day game against the Eagles. Horn, 26, played in 17 games with 5 starts for the Falcons a season ago. He has played in 3 games this season with 4 tackles and a pass defense. He's 6'4", 323 pounds, former undrafted free agent out of Kansas State. Now, let's see here. I mean, once again, don't get, overly excited. Good chance once this season's over with, he won't be with us anymore. But let's see here. He's played in 3 games so far this season. According to Pro Football Focus, I'm going by, he's played in a grand total of 57 snaps. Okay. Let's see. Last year with the Falcons, he played in 385 snaps. He graded out of 47.4. I mean, his run defense he grades out in the 50s. His pass rush, this year let's see, he has no sacks. He's got to hurry. He's got a batted pass. So I mean, he's don't expect too much from him. As I said, one thing, he's undrafted from Kansas State. He's young. I mean, he's 26. Okay, this is his second season. He's 26 already. But I said, don't expect a whole heck of a lot from him. But just what you do have to expect is that he will be going on the Giants 53 because, as I said, you can't take somebody from somebody else's practice squad and just throw him on your practice squad just because you feel like it. Yeah, take somebody from the practice squad. You have to put him on your 53. So, which also, because I mean, if you look at it, right, you really think about it, right? If they thought a lot about DJ Davidson or maybe Jordan Riley, I mean, you got Dexter Lawrence, you got Nacho, A'Shawn Robinson, Jordan Riley, DJ Davidson. That's 5 guys. That's it. So I guess they're going to maybe sit one of those guys, not dress one of them. As I said, because Horn's got to play. He's got to, well, doesn't have to play, but he have to put him on the 53. So, all right. Then we have This is, who is this from? G-Men HQ. 7 players and coaches who won't be back next season. Oh, yeah. There'll be at least 7. Absolutely. All right. Who do we got here? Previous. Anybody? It says 7 guys here. Paris Campbell. Oh, yeah. I don't know why we signed somebody, and it's like, you know what? We just can't use this guy. Yeah. Stupid. When the Giants signed Paris Campbell as a free agent, many saw it as a golden opportunity for the Giants to capitalize on a low-risk, high-reward player who had potential to be really good in the Dable offense. So far, he has 20 catches for 104 yards. He's averaging 5 yards a reception. And we paid, I think, $5 million for him. The experiment with Campbell is a disaster, and now with him being listed on the inactive list for games, it's pretty safe to say that he won't be back. So, even if the Giants were to, maybe offer him something or whatever, or think about, I mean, there's no way I'm not coming back, guys. You know what I mean? I'm healthy, and you're not playing me, I'm a healthy scratch, and you're not playing me. I don't quite understand. So if I was him, I wouldn't even be back either. Yeah. Adoree Jackson. Before the 2023 started, many wondered if the Giants were going to do anything with Adoree Jackson's contract, since they needed payroll relief, and an extension or restructure would help with that. The same thing was also said about Leonard Williams. Williams ended up getting traded at the deadline back in October, which signaled what the Giants' plans were for Williams, being that he wasn't in them. Rumors were that Jackson could have been traded as well, but he wasn't, given the fact that he wasn't extended or had his contract restructured, showed that with the Giants reviewing him currently. Yeah, they didn't want to push any of his money down the road at all, and apparently they had no inclinations upon probably re-signing him either, right? Jackson's expensive contract that is getting up in age was moved down the depth chart at times, and he looked bad on the field. Well, he hasn't looked that bad. It becomes a complete shock if Jackson returns to the Giants. Yeah, I don't see that happening. Especially, he's still young. Well, he's not 30. I mean, he's gonna go out there and I'm sure try to command $15 to $20 million. So I don't know whether he gets it or not, remains another story, but I'm not sure. I don't think he's in the Giants' future. It looks like the Giants are going to try to, I guess, maybe build and get younger and cheaper too. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor. They got Tommy DeVito, who's been the Giants' quarterback one, but possibly next season he could be the backup quarterback. He would be a lot cheaper, right? Let's see, DeVito. Let's see here. So where does Tyrod leave? Tyrod Taylor, he has been in for a handful of games in 2023 and spent over a month on injury reserve with a rib cage injury. And every time he goes in, he gets injured. Every time he goes in, he gets injured. He's a walking injury, He's a fantastic locker room guy, great guy to play for, great quarterback, smart, knowledgeable, blah, 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 all that stuff and everything. And I'm so happy the Giants got him once again, but his problem is he can't stay healthy. He's an injury waiting to happen. So, and even when Shane was talking to the media a few weeks ago, he said, we're definitely going to need to do something, with the quarterback position, because we don't have a crystal ball. We're not exactly sure when Daniel Jones will be ready, right? We got Tommy DeVito, but we don't know when Daniel Jones, and then he brought up, Tyrod, he's a free agent after the season, so he brought up, didn't sound like, we're going to try to work out something where we can maybe bring him back. We'll have to wait. He said, no, he said, Tyrod's his contract's up. So it doesn't sound like they have any inclinations about bringing Tyrod back. Especially, because Tyrod was the backup. You see how well Tommy's playing, right? Quarterback. And imagine if we could just block for the guy And if he actually, which I know is asking a lot, especially we're talking New York Giants, but if we actually could block for the guy, get an offensive line, and if we can get a really good wide receiver out there, hey, we might be able to do some stuff. But Sterling Shepard, yep. It's a shame. He was drafted, obviously, in the second round of the 2016 NFL draft. Let's see. It says few players have played with more heart and guts than Shepard. He's been here for playoff teams and for full-on team rebuilds. He's also been here for several injuries, quite a few injuries. I'm surprised. I'm happy he's made it through the season, so good for him. Shepard's health for 2023 has been a big mystery, and he's actually remained healthy for the season. I mean, a lot of the reason why he's remained healthy is because he has been on the field. You're not going to get injured on the field if you're not on the field. So, but despite the 12 games he's been active for, he's practically been a ghost. Shepard has 7 catches for 39 yards, and he has a touchdown. The 3-game Shepard was active for in 2022 saw better numbers from the veteran. Yeah. But I mean, it just goes to show you what they kind of, they have them, active and all this stuff and everything, but they're not putting them out there. So you could just put the writings on the wall for the future, for Sterling Shepard. I'm sure he won't be back either. Then they got Thomas McGahee. Interesting. This is what they have in this article there. McGahee has been a part of several coaching tenures for the Giants, as he has been the special teams coordinator since 2018. So, you look, that's Shermer, that's Judge, right? And now with Dable. Now you look at it. If you got somebody, right, who's going through one regime after the other, actually 3 regimes, and they keep holding on to the guy, he's can't say he's super, super special, but he certainly can't be a bum. I think the Giants special teams have done pretty well this year. Especially considering now we're on our 3rd kicker. Okay. And even the Scottish Hammer was injured last week, but he came in, right? He kicked the field goal, right? Olszewski's done a pretty good job returning punts for us. So, the Giants special teams haven't been super special, but they have not been super horrible, right? Remember when we had that touchdown returned against us, and a punt return touch against us in the Detroit game, and it kind of brought us back to 2022, and it seemed like we had quite a few punt returns brought back for some lengthy gains against us. Remember 2022? We're like, what is going on? We had a lot of guys injured, so guys wouldn't maintain their lanes and everything. And one guy would maybe go this way, one guy would maybe go that, or get blocked this way, and a big hole would open up, and a big punt return would come, or guys would get around the edge and come down the sideline and get some yards that way and all. Like, what is going on, right? And then when that Detroit guy ran the ball back for a touchdown in preseason, basically that was the game right there. That was the difference in the game. You're like, oh, man, what are we doing the same thing? But I'll tell you what, it's been kind of crickets, We've been doing pretty good in special teams. McGahee's been he's been around 2018. McGahee is brought on as part of Pat Shermer's staff and stayed on it for Joe Judge's staff and been here for Brian Dable. So, so you got 3 different coaching staffs, and they all keep your guy. That's saying something about him. At times, his special team staff and play has been very questionable. From the kicking game in 2023 to saw Graham Gano trying to attempt field goals with a knee injury. Well, I'm not so sure if that McGahee had something to do with that, but to the carousel punt returns the Giants tried and saw failed, missed. Yeah, that was. But we have a punt returner now, and we have no problems. Olszewski's doing a very fine job for us. Keeping Campbell over Jamison Crowder during roster cuts really came back to bite the Giants when they were going through the gauntlet of returners. After 6 seasons, it just might be time for Dable to find a new voice and coordinator to coach the Giants special teams. Nobody will fault Dable for looking elsewhere in 2024. Offensive line coach Bobby Johnson. Oh, my freaking God. 32 and a half seconds after the final game of the season, Joe Shane should be walking over to Bobby Johnson with the pink slip. Here you go, Bob. Thanks, pal. You're the man. Good luck. God bless to you, brother. It's been real. It's been fun, but hadn't been real fun. You suck. The whole season, our offensive line still has no idea how to pick up a stunt. You suck. Get out of here. Given how awful the Giants' offensive line has been in 2023, this one comes as no shock to anyone as far as coaches that should not be retained. I mean, you don't got to be a rocket scientist. Even I can figure this out. You look at the Giants, it's like, we can't win anything. How are we supposed to win anything with this offensive line playing like that? Right? The biggest indictment of Bobby Johnson's coaching tenure with the Giants is the regression of Evan Neal at right tackle in his second season. Everyone understood Neal struggling as a rookie. It was expected Neal was going to go up against a lot of premier pass rushers as a rookie. However, Neal barely looking competent to be a starter in his second season, to the point where many think it's in Neal's best interest to move to a guard, says a lot. Not only for Neal, but for Johnson, who has failed to properly coach him. Yep. Aside from Neal, we've seen other young linemen struggle under Johnson's watch. Azudu didn't look right when he briefly played left tackle. Marcus McKeithen was so bad he was forced to be on the bench once players returned. Shane Lemieux, my God, barely looked like a professional offensive lineman. Where you go, oh my God, was he horrible. Johnson has outstayed his welcome to the Giants, and it should be the first assistant that Brian Daboll does not retain. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And then Mike Kafka. All right. A year ago, Mike Kafka was being interviewed for possible head coaching opportunities. Now he might need to update his resume for other coaching jobs. There's been a lot of speculation as far as who has been calling the Giants offense in 2023 and whether Daboll took over the play calling for Kafka. If that was the case, it wouldn't be the first time we've seen a head coach for the Giants do that. Jim Fossil took over for Sean Payton 20 years ago. Yep. There have been times when the offense is stale and predictable. The Giants offense has also been one of the worst in the NFL at times, and one of them has failed to put up points in the game. In 7 of the Giants' 14 games, the offense has failed to put up at least 10 points. In 10 of the 14 games, the Giants have put up less than 20 points. As a coach who was once up for the head coaching opportunities, this was the season for Kafka to get creative and utilize the players who he had on offense to put up points. He didn't do that. Yep. And then, of course, then there's the word on the street that there's problems between Wink Martindale and Daboll and all that. So, I mean, I hope, I hope Wink comes back. Love to see him. Love the guy. Just nice, down to earth and all. It does a very good job as far as coaching. I mean, the Giants have had some problems, but their biggest problems are on offense, the offensive line, and the lack of weapons. Right, third string quarterback in there, not usually a good recipe. That's a recipe for failure, for disaster, shall we say? So. I mean, I think Wink's done a pretty admirable job, So, but then again, I'm not under the roof, right? I don't know what's going on, and people butting heads. Who knows? All right. Then Boston Scott. Here we go, the Giant Killer. Ooh, he has 9 touchdowns against the Giants. I think he has 10 career touchdowns. 9 of them are against the Giants. Yeah, this guy's great. Yeah. It's just one of those fluky things that the guy's taking advantage, right? Basically, playing for a very good team behind a very good offensive line, going up against for the most part, inferior opponent, multiple times. Now, Scott has, what does he have here? Boom, and one time. Okay, 17 career touchdowns. I think 9 of them are against the Giants. I think it says here. Let's see here. Let's see. The Giants Killer. Believe it or not, Scott, the 2018 6th-round pick out of Louisiana Tech by the New Orleans Saints, has scored 11 total touchdowns in 9 games against the Giants in his career. So he has 17 touchdowns. 17 total career touchdowns. 11 of them against the Giants. And, Giant killer. Yeah, this guy's really, really good. He's so great. He's been in the league for 1,800 years, and he has six career touchdowns against all the other. Oh yeah, he's really good. This guy's really good. Let's see here. 10 of those scores happened during the regular season, including one receiving touchdown during the 2020 season. 9 rushing touchdowns scored by Scott against the Giants in the regular season ranks tied for 5th all-time with Jim Brown. Former Dallas Cowboy Hall of Fame running back Emmitt Smith ranks first on the list with 21 rushing scores against the Giants. With another score on Monday, Scott would tie New England Patriots running back Ezekiel Elliott for the 4th most rushing touchdowns in the regular season with 10. Pretty good company. Now, it might also just wind up being, true that, because they know, I mean, you see Sirianni, he's a low-life, worthless piece of human trash. And it's just the way this season's kind of panning out, right? It just kind of show you how good of a coach he really is. He's got a lot of talent, and they lost 3 games in a row. They got blown out back-to-back games. Their defense stinks. So it kind of shows you like what they had last season with the coaches that they had. Sirianni's not a very good coach. I don't think he's a very good coach at all. I think he's just lucky that he has such a good team. That's all. It's not like we're not looking at Vince Lombardi there, guys. We're not looking at Bill Belichick. I mean, he's just very lucky that he has a very good team. That's all. If you put him and gave Nick Sirianni the Giants team from this season, one our 3rd-string quarterback, apparently Bullock's not playing, so we'll be on our 3rd field goal kicker. We had offensive line problems. We'd probably be lucky to win 1 game if Sirianni was the coach. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach at all. But because he's a low-life, worthless piece of trash, you can certainly see when they get it down around the 1-yard line, right? They get down to the 1. They can do the tush push, or they'll just hand it off to Scott 3 times in a row. Make sure he gets in there. Oh, he's a giant killer. Scott. Yeah, right. Let's see. I mean, he's so good. Scott's so good. He has 298 career rushes for 1,287 yards, averaging 4.3 yards a carry. He averages 17.9 yards a game. Oh, yeah, he's really good. He's really, 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 he's unbelievable. Averages about 18 yards a game rushing the ball. Yeah, I'll tell you what, this guy's the greatest of all time. So, and I said, just because obviously Sirianni knows. So when they get down inside the 5 or the 10, I'm sure Scott will be in the game. Right? And he'll be handing the ball off to him. Oh, we got in again, man. This guy's so good now. Yeah, I mean, he'll just be one of those folklore ones, 20 years from now or so. Yeah, remember that guy? Remember Boston Scott? Yeah, he scored all these touchdowns. He didn't score another touchdown against any other team. It was just against the Giants. Just one of those fluky things. And now as the tail as goes along is building, right? That now the Eagles are taking advantage and trying to make it more and more of a joke or whatever. So anytime they get down there, let's bring Scott in. Let's hand him the ball 3 times from the 1-yard line. He'll get it. Oh, he's got another touchdown. He's a giant killer. So I don't buy it. If he was that good, he'd be their starting running back. If he was that good, he'd have more touchdowns against other teams. He doesn't. So he's just a product of, don't get me wrong, it's not like he's a horrible running back. If you make it in the NFL, guess what? You're a good running back. And, he's a good running back. But, he's just a product of the system. If the Giants faced, if he was on a different team, a crappy team, and the Giants faced this crappy team, would he have that many touchdowns? Probably not. I mean, ever since he's been there, right? I think it was 2018. So basically, it was right after they won the Super Bowl. I mean, the Eagles have been relatively good, after they won the Super Bowl. I mean, they had the 1 year they were down. That was 2020. But this year they're good. Last year they went to the Super Bowl. So I mean, they've had some good teams, really, really good teams, and especially the Giants have not had some good teams. And even the 1 year the Giants went to the playoffs last year, right? The Eagles kicked the living crap out of us. So the Eagles have been so dominant over the Giants. I think I heard it. Out of the last 30 times the Eagles and Giants played each other, the Eagles have won 24 of the last 30 games. I mean, yeah. So he's just a product, as that once again. He's not horrible running back. Without a doubt, he's not a horrible running back. But if he was just that unbelievable, he averages 18 in his career, 18 yards a game running the ball. He has, I think I read like 17 career touchdowns, 16 rushing touchdowns, 1 receiving touchdown, which was against the Giants. So he has 17 career touchdowns, according to this, what they said, like 10 or 11 touchdowns were against the Giants. So he has like 6 touchdowns against all the rest of the NFL in his career. He's just a product of the system. He's just at the right place at the right time. And now that the legend is growing, it's becoming a folklore and all that. Now, as long as he's still on the Eagles team, right? Now, anytime they're going to get down inside, right, the 5 or the 10 or whatever it is, they're just going to bring everybody leaves the field, all the other running backs, sit on the sideline, have some Kool-Aid, right? We got Scott in here. We're going to make sure we get him in the end zone at least once or twice. And we'll be like, Boston Scott, he's a giant killer. Look at 2 more touchdowns again. He's not a giant killer. He's very lucky. He's on a very good team playing against usually a very bad Giant team, right? And as I said, it's the tail grows taller on down the line, right? And with the Eagles' offensive line being very good, right? And the Eagles are going to move the ball probably against the Giants, and they're going to go up and down the field quite a few times on the Giants. And I said, there's like nothing you can do. Once you get down inside the 5 or 10 or so with the offensive line they got against, our defensive front, they'll probably try to find a way to get Boston Scott in the end zone. So it is what it is. If he scores again, cool, whatever. I mean, another couple of years, he'll be out of the NFL, and you won't ever hear from him ever again. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, guys, been 52 minutes. We'll say 52 minutes. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!